Guys, just a quick review on the shapes project. So hopefully you're all able to get all 18 shapes drawn out from your point of view of the wooden blocks that we had in class. As you can see, I used the pen and ink technique on several, pencil on several, and watercolor on a couple of them as well. You should have 6 of each. Just quick review on what you should be seeing. For the pencil, on flat surfaces, you should have solid values. So on this flat piece, we have a light value on the side where light is striking it, a little darker on the back side, and then I chose to put nothing on the top for where the light is hitting it directly. If you notice on my page, all of my shadows are going in the same way, so the light is on the upper left of each one of the objects. Going to the one next to it. So on the cylinder shape, this is rounded, so we need to put a gradient from no shade to a dark shade. Again, top, that's flat. It can be either nothing or a light value or shade. Pen and ink. On the rubric, there's 4 different techniques. We've got stippling, which are dots, hatching, which are straight lines, cross hatching, which is going across the line, and then blending, which we have an example of right here. You can use all the techniques, or like I did on this one, where it's just stippling and we have dots that are farther apart for light area, a little closer for a little darker, closer for the darkest value. Okay. For the ovals or the circle, we want to go in a circular motion, starting with a clean spot on the page to a little bit of a shadow, to a little darker, and the shadows underneath it are going to be round, as you can see down here on the bottom. So to finish things up, I'm going to do one of each just so you can see it in real time. I'm going to start with using my pen up on the upper right-hand or upper left-hand side of our page, and I'm going to use a combination on this one with some stippling, going into some hatches, going down and getting them closer to each other as I go. Maybe a few more stipples on the edge. Trying to make that transition from no shade to a little more shade. And I'll do some cross hatches. And I'm actually going to curve my cross hatch because this is a cylinder. And I'm going to make them a little closer as I get closer to the edge where I want it to be darkest. Again, I'm not going to put anything on the top of this one. And I'm going to use a just a hatch technique for my shadow for this one. And a little bit of blending on the edge just to get that final dark part of my shade. Okay, so that's a pen and ink. I'm going to use my pencil to do the six-sided object. I'm going to do a really light shade on my first flat. Then go a little darker. And then my fourth flat side will be my darkest. You can always use your finger or a piece of paper towel to blend that color together, or blend that shade together. And then put a drop shadow. Trying to match that middle shade. So you should be able to see 4 different values on this one. Okay. Lastly, we'll do a painted piece. You should have brush, paints, paper towel. It's a good idea to have a piece of paper that you can do some experiments with. So we've got a curved cone. We want to go light to dark for the cone part. This section is flat, so that will be 1 value. So I'm going to go ahead and just put some pretty solid orange down to start with. On that back edge. And I like to take a clean brush and pull some of that color out. It's not quite perfect at this point, but we'll get there. Just keep pulling a little bit of color out to try to make it look like the gradient. Okay. Light to dark. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. Then I'm going to come in, I'm going to make this one, because this is flat, and this is of course away from the light as well. I'm going to make that a relatively darker shade of my orange, almost like my edge was, and that will be a flat single value because this is a flat area. And then finish up with putting in a drop shadow. This would be kind of pointed if we had floor that this was all sitting on, kind of like this one is. Okay? So at the end, you should end up with 6 watercolor pieces, 6 pen and ink pieces, and 6 pencil shaded pieces. Great. If you have any questions, please let me know, and we'll do whatever we can to make sure that you get a successful piece. All right.